Being 7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bastos?
Here?
Commissioner Bauer?
Here.
Commissioner Gage?
Here.
Commissioner Gary?
Here.
Commissioner Lynn?
Here.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Here.
Commissioner Twardy? Here.
Okay, well, please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you very much. It's nice to see all of our police officers, or at least many of the police officers in the meeting tonight. Thank you all for coming. I understand Chief John Riley is it's the first year for the commission. He's going to do a swearing in of some new officers. So, Police Chief.
Thank you, Mayor.
And also those that aren't in uniform. I see a few officers out there that are not in uniform.
You let them dress down periodically.
Yeah.
Commission, as you know, law enforcement is steeped in many traditions. One tradition that we have enjoyed over the years is recognizing retirements. That's done through parties, gifts from the department to the retiree. A good friend of mine, retired police chief from Flat Rock PD, he goes around the state and he teaches ethics and honor to young officers all across the state. And his belief is, while we recognize retirement as we should also be recognizing the achievement that young officers get when they are hired by a department. They're just not hired off the street through an interview process. They send themselves to school for many years. This is something they've wanted to do since they've been 6 years old. Nowadays they send themselves through the academy and they pay for that. So it's a great achievement for them to get hired by the department. And I'd like to thank the Commission, the Mayor, for allowing us this time, for the first time, to do a swear-in in the public in front on television. I'd like to thank the family and friends of our two new officers for attending. And looking around, I'm very proud of these officers that have shown up here tonight to support the new officers. This is going to be the future of the department. So with that, we will do the oath, which I'll turn it over to Robin for that, and after that we'll do the law enforcement oath of honor.
Wants to go first? I'm going to have you raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of office of police officer in and for the city of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, county of Chippewa, state of Michigan, according to the best of my abilities.
I do.
Right away, you're the boss, right?
Yeah.
All right, have you raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of office of police officer in and for the city of Sault Ste. Marie, county of Chippewa, state of Michigan, according to the best of my abilities.
I do.
Got your cheat sheets? Okay, I made them a little bigger. I need these. I'll ask you to raise your right hand. This is the law enforcement oath of honor. I'll read the first part and then you guys do that. On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust.
On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
I will always uphold the Constitution, my community, and the agency I serve.
I will always uphold the Constitution, my community, and the agency I serve.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you're welcome to, you don't have to stay for the whole thing.
Names?
But you can take pictures.
Hey, Chief, we didn't get any, can we have their names?
You didn't say that?
No.
Back up, Marcel. I had that on my sheet.
I didn't hear a name.
I'd like to present Officer Marcel Coular
Oh, yeah.
and Officer Rebecca Dubin.
Congratulations. Congratulations. The families and friends, you can depart also if you'd like, or you can stick around for the meeting. It's certainly a pleasure having you all here, and we continue to thank the police officers for the job that they continue to do in our community.
You know, if they were to stay here, we'd be well protected.
Yes.
Would have said on the elevator coming up here.
That was nice.
Item number 1 on the agenda, public comment on scheduled agenda items. Any person may reserve time to speak on an agenda item not to exceed 3 minutes per person. Is there anyone in the audience like to speak on an agenda item? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item number 2, the consent agenda. City Clerk.
Under the consent agenda, A, minute approval. 1, approval of the minutes of the regular city commission meeting of August 3rd, 2015. Recommended action, approve the minutes of the regular city commission meeting of August 3rd, 2015. And there's no minutes to be approved. Item B, communications from the Community Action Human Resource Authority. Approval of Sault Ste. Marie Dial-A-Ride American Disabilities Act, ADA, complaint policy. Recommended action, approve the Dial-A-Ride American Disability Act complaint policy. Item 2, from Michigan Liquor Control Commission, new SDM license for Christ Oil Company, located, or will be located at 2400 Ashman Street. Recommended action is there's no action required on this item.
Okay, thank you. Is there a commissioner that would like something further explained on the consent agenda? Commissioner Gage.
So move the commission approve the consent agenda.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor Boswis?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Simmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item 3, special orders of business. A, second reading of an ordinance to allow uses permitted in the B3 zoning district to locate within the I-1 and I-2 zoning districts by right. A is public comments and B is action on the ordinance.
Okay, thank you. City Manager Turner.
Thank you, Mayor. At its regular meeting on August 3rd, 2015, the City Commission unanimously approved the first reading of the presented ordinance, which would serve to permit those uses permitted within B3 zoning districts to also locate within I-1 and I-2 industrial zoning districts by right. The focus of this particular action is on a clause in the permitted use list for the I-1 zoning district, which permits B3 uses to locate within industrial districts, but only when their convenience, for the convenience of the entities within such districts. It has been determined that these types of uses are not likely to occur in the city of Sault Ste. Marie. Speaking with those individuals who have had historical experience with this ordinance provision, revealed no circumstances where the convenience requirement was anything other than a hindrance to business. as it has resulted in numerous applications being made to the Zoning Board of Appeals for use variances over the years, all of which have been granted. As noted previously, a primary concern of the administration with such a change is the viability and health of the city's industrial parks, and that non-industrial uses within them would defeat the purpose of the parks, devaluing the property. In speaking with the city's Economic Development Corporation, there are restrictive covenants in place which would prevent non-industrial uses from occupying lands within the parks, so that concern would be a non-issue. Not only would this change allow new, previously unpermitted uses to move into such areas, it would also allow the existing uses in these areas, which are presently non-conforming, to be considered conforming uses. It should be noted that this action is more of a temporary fix to this issue, and that it will be looked at in closer detail during the future amending of the zoning ordinance that is to follow the master plan update. The administration will continue to look for changes that can be made to the zoning ordinance to facilitate business development within the community. Accordingly, it's my recommendation that the City Commission first hold a public hearing to receive input on this matter, and secondarily approve the included ordinance as presented. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll hold a public hearing on an ordinance to allow uses permitted in a B3 zoning district to the locate within the I1 and I2 zoning district. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a comment at this time? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioner Bauer.
So move that the commission follow the city manager's recommendations.
Support. It's been moved, supported. Are there any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage,
Yes.
Commissioner Gary.
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn,
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons,
Yes.
Commissioner Torty,
Yes.
Mayor Bospas.
Yes. Motion carried. Thank you.
Item 4, communications. A, from the Downtown Development Authority, acceptance of MML Place Plans Implementation Mini Grant.
Okay, thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. DDA Director Nepper is here tonight to provide a presentation on this matter.
Evening, Justin.
Good evening. Just have to turn this computer on again. Do you know the password? The topic that I'm going to be chatting about this evening is regarding the Maloney Alley Place Plan, which was a substantial item in the Downtown Development Authority plans. In 2013, we started working on a couple properties along Maloney's Alley. It's been about a year and a half. We've been actively working on continuing the project and getting development to take place. The Michigan Municipal League approached the Downtown Development Authority in the city about 2-3 months ago regarding what's called an implementation mini grant that they were offering a number of cities that had the place plans in place but were still working on implementing them. So we actually approved we accepted the place plan implementation mini grant, I think 2 months ago at this commission meeting. And so actually what we're going to be voting on tonight is regarding a transfer of funds from the Downtown Development Authority capital project called Downtown Signage into a new account specifically for the mini grant. However, I wanted to give a quick update on what's happening, especially this week. There's going to be some meetings that any of you are welcome to attend this Friday regarding the grant. So to give a quick overview of where we were at before, where we left off, the final report that was issued by the Michigan Municipal League, and it was actually the Michigan State University Extension or Architecture team, drew up a couple renderings, and this is one of them. And you can see the top picture is looking east, kind of from, let's say you were on top of the International Bridge. You can see the new Salvation Army, the former Sioux Co-op grocery store in the kind of the bottom center corner. And then to the left, there's a little gate over what would be an alley, the Maloney's Alley with with the mole hole on the left, and then a large white box that represents the old Claremont Trucking Building. And then on the bottom picture is the Alpha Bar in the forefront, the Dragon's Eye Tattoo Shop in the forefront, and you're looking kind of south or mostly east. These renderings were very focused on, I guess I would say, what they really ended up doing was focusing on kind of just enhancing the space in terms of how it looks. The big blue things were what were called arcades, which were covered walkways. And I guess I'm not gonna pull any punches. The Michigan State architecture team at the very end of this plan kind of just went a little wild in terms of what the city, the community was asking for, and so they added a number of features, and they decided the best thing that they could do was just pretty much turn all of our existing stores or vacant buildings into two-story buildings. So going into it was still a good rendering to get juices flowing. This one was a little bit more detailed, and this is where the community was generally in favor in terms of the design charrettes. And you're looking in the top picture, if you notice, you can see, again, you're standing kind of on top of the mole hole roof, and you can see the fire hall in the top right corner, M-Bank, and a large building, basketball courts. Those are where Pat Cleary's current, the mental health building is currently located, I believe what was there before. And then you're looking from kind of behind the downtowner in the bottom picture towards Osborne. And these renderings were kind of one of the other ideas. Both examples really were focused on a large, overall kind of a macro level plan, not very much in terms of the individual details. How do we actually get something built? How do we actually design a building? You can see they're just kind of white squares. Other things that were missing, which the community expressed very clearly to the architecture team, was that there was no parking woven in. Kind of their answer was, that'll come based on what really is built, you would add parking in. So they wanted to do kind of a really pretty picture, and then reality would be maybe slightly different. So the implementation plan that Michigan Municipal League offered us, the grant, is much more focused on how to actually build, market, and attract the developments that would go in the white boxes, if you will. One of the big things that they focused on was, and the state is focusing on, is in order for us to add public space, we need tax base. We need new buildings that will allow for the generation of taxes to help us maintain whatever we add, whether it's public space, parks, basketball courts, outdoor ice skating rinks, any of those features. So we know we want the public space. That's what the community asked for at our design charrettes, but we didn't have any way to actually attract the private developers. And we've been working hard on that with the private property owners for a number of years. And actually, as a caveat, that's one thing I'll mention. One of the most, I guess, tricky things about this whole process is the properties that we have downtown that are large, vacant, and developable are all privately owned, aside from some of the smaller parks and parking lots that the city owns. So that's something that no matter how much we'd like to, just go in and do things, it does take owner cooperation. So skipping ahead, this is what we proposed in the mini grant. And if you recall, I actually came to the commission, I think a few months ago, and we talked about outdoor ice skating rink, few things like that. And what the granting agency asked us to work on was specifically to focus on these red boxes. And this does not mean that the buildings would fill up the red boxes or stay within the red boxes. It's just a general spot to start the conversation. How to get private development regarding mixed use, apartments, commercial, whatever the case may be, to begin filling in the sites where we have an overabundance of parking, pavement, and not very much use there. We have a huge mental health building that's been empty for 20 years on the right side. The old Steve's Music has been empty for a long time as well. So really, the whole concept, if you boil it down into the simplest thing to think about, we have a large city block with the Maloney's Alley on the north side, Ridge on the south, that is practically vacant, has been bulldozed over the years, and a huge opportunity for infill. Now, there's another site that was also included in the grant, because as you can see, directly to the north, you can see a few trees on the other side of Portage, and that's the Templeton property in between the Palace and the Ramada. And one of the things that was identified in the Maloney's Alley Place plan was that we can't just build something that sits in this parking lot and then not realize the impact that it would have on the surrounding properties, including the fire hall parking lot to the south, as well as the grass, that field next to the palace on the north. So it's really a wider area that will be considered. And again, these developments would, potentially include both private building development as well as public space. So these three sites this Friday actually were scheduled to have the the Michigan Municipal League's architecture team and marketing team that'll be coming up and meeting with the three property owners that own these properties, and starting to work on getting the wheels turning as to how we can actually implement and develop these sites with all of the public input from the original charrettes included. So this is the first company that's coming up, and these are companies that were already, I guess, pre-packaged by the Michigan Municipal League for our use. Campbell Architecture, this is some of the stuff that they do. They do a lot of redevelopment or focus on buildings and site plans. And then the implementation team is something called Kuntz Solutions. And as you can see, their tagline is bridging the gap between ideas and action, and they kind of help us through the process of getting the ball, getting things off the ground and then carrying it through to the final stage. So one thing I wanted to share as well that goes with this whole concept is what I was very excited at our master plan update that Kelly Freeman and the city was hosting this past week, is there was actually a lot of focus on what types of buildings and architecture belong in the downtown area. And I wanted to run by a couple ideas on that, and that'll give you just a little bit of a taste of where probably we'll be going with these specific, this specific exercise on Friday. Does anybody know what building that is? This is just something I thought was, yeah, that's medical office building. So, this is the type of architecture that's very focused on medical. It's not necessarily focused on retail, but it gives you a little bit of an idea, at least in my personal opinion, of a fairly appropriate architectural style that fits within downtown. Heritage Building, another good building that was built fairly recently. Again, very focused on medical, but when you weave in a few of those types of designs, that type of a style, it fits within our downtown fairly well. And then this one is the last slide I had. This was from the master plan update. This is actually, I believe, in Traverse City, but this is much more of the style that's focused on retail and apartments. Again, it could be higher, it could be narrower, it could be 4 stories, it could be 6 stories, whatever the case might be, but you can see that there are small retail shops on the first floor and then 2 stories of apartments on the second floor. These are the type of things that this architecture team is going to be fleshing out. What, where the buildings should be built, what they could, how the market will handle it, what the other surrounding properties need in terms of parking, in terms of then the community's demand for kind of public space. So all of that will be woven into this next phase of implementation. We'll hopefully pretty much be able to provide our private property owners as well as the city, the DDA, and other interested stakeholders with a packet that will be a high quality architectural rendering, a budget that goes with it, and the marketing tools to attract the developers from around the area and around the country potentially. That's all I have. Any questions? Again, I think just to give you a quick idea of what our schedule is going to be, we're going to start Friday morning with some city meetings with the Michigan Municipal League team, and then have lunch, do a walkthrough of the sites, and then meet with the property owners in the afternoon. The 3 property owners that we're going to be talking to. Dean Templeton and his family, Pat Cleary and Sean Atto, that own those 3 properties. So it's going to be a very interesting meeting on Friday, and hopefully we'll get a lot of participation from the property owners and have a better feeling of where we can go with these properties. And then just to go into where this type of a practice in terms of the city and the DDA facilitating development discussions is a great opportunity for us to kind of get a feel for how it would be for many of our own properties, whether it's downtown or across the community, which already the EDC, the city, and the DDA are engaged in. But this is a great, kind of it gets you into the science of development. So I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Don't go too far.
Sure.
We have maybe just a couple comments, and let me just talk. We went to the design charrette, and a number of the commission was there, property owners, private business people, and we all understood that it's going to take development money and individual private enterprise to come in and look at Maloney's Alley and Maloney's area, the whole area, and see what a key that is to the Locks area, to the downtown, and try and build something in that whole process. And it's important that I think that you're doing it, keeping the focus on that entity, because we all know there's a number of businesses or buildings, not business, buildings in that area that need to probably be demolished and new startup, because I think I don't know if you can deal with the stuff that's there. It's old, it's been there a long time, it's a lot of disrepair, but it's important that we continue the focus, because that area will continue to be a blight until something is done. And it's going to take an investment, and it's Michigan Municipal League or the folks that are providing this input for us to get more information that hopefully somebody can use, because people are coming to the Sioux. We have 500,000 people that come here every year, 500,000 to 600,000 roughly. And this year is busier than other years because, and then we don't know if it's the gas prices, if it's Pure Michigan campaign. It's probably a lot of that stuff. But people, you talk to Linda Hoth, they continue to hit 12, 15% every month increases in amount of tourism and amount of visitors. So that's a good thing. And all we need is a couple of folks that are here that might have the wherewithal to say, I want to live here, I want to invest in the community. So to have these plans in place and be able to show somebody that this is a possibility for the right entity. It's important that we continue to have these kinds of discussions and these kinds of efforts to continue to make someday, we have a plan, and someday that plan will come to fruition. So just a comment. Commissioner Torrey, you had a...
Well, I did owe that, but I also just had a quick question about, and you don't have to, we can talk privately, but I was just wondering, with the current facade grants that are happening downtown, have you ever been able to find anybody to help out with fixing the facades?
With fixing them?
Well, yeah, because I knew that some of the buildings were running into problems, especially like AE architects and engineers.
Yeah, we actually have 4 of the 5 buildings underway. So things are trucking along, and it's very exciting. And you'll be able to see, I would say, within about 2 weeks, the Historical Society will be near completion. They're waiting on windows, and when the windows go in, it's going to be just amazing. That building, if you actually stand in front of 1668 Winery's deck or on the deck and look across the street, there's some really amazing stuff going on there. And then Island Books and Crafts just started, that's the old Traverse Bay Woolen, just started getting brick repointing done yesterday, actually. And then we have contracts that are pending for the other 2 buildings.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yep.
Commissioner Gage.
I think it's important to reiterate what Justin said, that the point of this is a public-private partnership, and it's primarily a private partnership. It's not the city spending a bunch of money to fix this, and it's not the city using tax dollars to make this happen. happen. It's the city using small grants like this Michigan Municipal Grant to plant the seeds and start the process going, but then to go out and attract private investors and private property owners to come and revitalize that area. So that's just my comment. I just want to reiterate,
Sure.
it's
And
primarily private.
And I just want to make a comment because I know he won't, but the Ray Bauer, who has taken the corner, which was an eyesore, and has put a significant amount of money into that winery, it has made that corner a much nicer corner, much more profound corner for the city of Sault Ste. Marie when you come to Portage and Ashman. That's a key corner, along with Lesu's in the Island Books and Craft is another key spot. And then you have the market that we have across the street, kitty corner of those, so that that's private investment. I know Ray, the commissioner, won't talk about that, but at the same point, it's important that he took the time, he took the effort. It's his money that he's got into that corner, and it's made it much more enjoyable, much more prolific, and it really helps in this whole process. So that's a start. Over from 5 to 10 years, that whole area hopefully will look different than it looks today. And it's going to take property owners that are there now, that have been there a long time, sprucing up their places, hopefully with grants or with incentives. And it's just it's a long process, but hopefully.
And just building on what Jay said, one of the things that this grant and what downtown development authorities across the state are trying to do is many times when we have a vacant property in the community or in any community and someone decides, hey, I'd like to build on there, the city is within a kind of a reactionary position where we have to react to whether it's a building plan, whether it's a site plan, things like that. And so when we're able to be proactive and say, hey, if you build this style building in this location, it's going to be even quicker for you to get through our processes. It helps our local property owners, especially the 3 property owners in this regard that have been sitting on vacant property for many years. It will hopefully help them realize, hey, we're all on the same team. So.
Yeah. And there are 2 recommendations. Those are 2 separate motions according to the city attorney. So, thank you, Justin.
Thanks.
Commissioner Bauer.
So moved that the city commission accept the MML Place Plans Implementation Mini Grant.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn? Yes. Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Second motion, or second, yes.
I further move that the commission authorize the transfer of $7,500 from Downtown Signage Capital Project Fund to the Place Plans Mini Grant Fund for a total project budget of $15,000.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 5 is the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Item A under the City Manager's report would provide for the award of a bid for the purchase of a 2016 Ford Police Interceptor utility vehicle. On Monday, July 27, 2 bids were received by the city for the purchase of a new police patrol vehicle for the Sault Police Department. The low bid for the purchase of the vehicle received by the city was from Signature Ford of Owasso, Michigan, in the amount of $26,518. Sault Motors bid $26,786.46 for the purchase of the same vehicle, which was within a 5% local bidder preference differential. As commissioners are aware, a local bidder is able to lower its bid at the time of bid award to match an actual bid submitted by a non-local bidder. Sault Motors agreed to match the bid of $26,518 as originally submitted by Signature Ford, and accordingly it's my recommendation that the City Commission approve the purchase of a 2016 Ford Police Interceptor utility vehicle at a price of $26,518 from Sault Motors, which matched the lowest bid submitted, meeting specifications. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Lynn.
So move the city manager's recommendation on the purchase of this Interceptor.
Support.
From Sault Motors.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item B, under the city manager's report, would provide for the award of a bid to Kaisner Construction for Canes Rink roof, floor, and structural repairs. Parks and Recreation and Assistant DPW Director Wires is planning to make a presentation on this matter.
Okay, great. Evening, Dan.
Mayor and Commissioners, how's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Okay, drink. Kind of get started, Canes Rink, as you all know, has been around for quite a few years. And we budgeted for a new roof replacement, I think about 2 years ago. It went out to bid this last year and it came in over budget, so we reworked it. We ended up having a structural evaluation report that UP engineers had done with Jeremy Gagno and those folks, and I did, that was submitted to us, completed last July, so you did get a copy of that report as well. And also detailed photos that were in that report. I have a short presentation with some photos that are real current, that are a little bit different than what you see in the report. But certainly, we did take this issue out to bid again, and we did get some very favorable pricing, which is very good. And for one of the first pieces, that's because it's been leaking in that roof is a new shingle roof, and as you can see by these photos that were taken today, we're talking 15,736 square feet. This roof is 25 plus years old, and we're looking at putting new premium shingles to replace this. And so just by driving by, you can see, just by standing there, you can see where the shingles have been blowing off for quite some time. This is going to be a major, major plus for Canes Rink. And then within, replace the sheeting, and you can see where some sections of the roof boards that have been replaced over the years with some OSB, and some of the fiberboard we did notice with the structural report that did absorb some water and that has expanded. So there may be some more sheeting that we're going to have to get after as soon as we can, the intention once we start to shingle this roof once that gets peeled off. So it looks like we're going to have to do a little bit more. But at least you can see from the inside where there's some of the older boards that have been there for quite a few years. And then the alternate one was to, it was kind of on the back of the other slide as well. You can see where the structural steel and the riveted steel trusses appear to be in very good condition. However, the top cord and bottom cords on the lateral bracing rods are missing, and in some areas they need to be replaced. You really can't see this in some of the photos where some of them had just been broken off, and they've probably been broken off for quite some time. So that was one of the first structural pieces that we need to do to get that whole again, is to replace the bracing rods. And then number two is installation of a new steel pipe column. And if you, where the roll-up door is on the east side, as you can see, and most of you do know, is that it's rough cut sandstone. And the beam above the door has been corroding over the years and is buckling. And to shore this up, a new steel pipe column will be placed under the beam to the right of the bearing point to put that back in a very safe mode. And those are just some of the things that this building has needed for quite some time. Alternate three is remove the parapet wall. Now, if you're looking from Sioux Builders looking south, you can see where I circled on the left photo. The parapet wall is leaning slightly away from the building, and there's just been some settling. It's been over the years. And the recommendation is to remove that entire portion of the wall and the parapet above the steel beam and replace with, I believe it's light framing of wood. And that's one of our main pieces that we did bid out, and we did get some very good pricing on as well. And install rubber flooring in the lobby. Those are photos taken today. We've done carpet runners. We've done all kinds of different things there over the years. We need to put some rubber in there. We did have a project that was funded for quite a few years. Just didn't go. We put it out to bid a couple times. The pricing didn't come in. With a lot of begging, the finance director has kept the money in the budget, so it really did help. So we baked this into this whole project. And what will happen is, as I put in here, that it's the Kodiak Sports 4x4 interlocking half-inch tiles are going to be put in there. So with all the items with the kids in the hockey, because right now it's just a wooden floor with some runners down there. So that is really going to be a major improvement to this facility.
So as I understand, then the skates don't have to be covered. They can just walk on top of that rubber floor without getting.
It'll be a half-inch rubber, and it'll make it to my knowledge, I don't know if we've ever had a rubber surface in Cairns Rink. I don't think
Probably
we've
not.
had.
Very much.
If we had, it's been a lot of years, but, and that's the end
Any questions
of my report.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yeah, we approve this tonight. When can work start?
I believe we're going to be looking to have a pre-construction meeting here shortly, and I believe it's through by no later than November 15th. I think the work is to be completed. It's going to get started right away. And Kaesner Construction, who's partnered with the city on multiple projects, is very eager to
Get going.
and anxious to get going as well. So we got some good pricing, and there's a few things that we still need to do in the future. We're looking at potentially the building to be painted. That's a possibility. Maybe the second floor stairs we need to look at. Right now, that's there. We have obviously some exterior brick and also some venting under the lobby. So there's a lot of things. I mean, it's like any other building, but these are the main ones.
It's a good start.
Feel real good about it. Some
Yep.
good pricing.
Commissioner
We
Tuardi?
greatly appreciate the support in funding this.
Thank you.
Just a quick comment. All three of the construction companies that did put a bid in, they're all really talented. I personally have hired Kaesner to do some roofing work for us, and they do an outstanding job. And it's very rare that they come back and ask for more money. So let's hope that this project's the same.
Would you like to make a motion?
I would. I move that the City Commission award the Keynes Roof Lobby and Floor Repairs Project, as well as the added structural repair work outlined herein to Kaesner Construction Incorporated of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, in the amount of $71,316, as this was the lowest bidder.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Commissioner Lynn?
Hopefully, it's done November 15th, and we don't have to worry about putting ice on it at that time.
Right. Exactly. Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuardi?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item C, under the city manager's report, would provide authorization for lease amendments regarding the AT&T antenna system on the 4th Avenue water tower. As commissioners are aware, AT&T leases space on the 4th Avenue water tower for cellular phone antennas. Recently, AT&T has indicated to the city that it's undertaking a review of its network and its associated agreements. Over the course of the past several weeks, the city and AT&T have been negotiating an extension to the city's existing agreement with AT&T for the expanded and continued use of the space on the water tower. As a conclusion to these negotiations, the administration is recommending that the lease be extended as presented within the included documents for an additional 5-year term that would commence on June 6, 2016, and that could additionally be extended for an additional 5 separate 5-year terms beyond 2021 through 2046. As a benefit to the overall extension as well as the additional extension terms, the city would receive $21,000 per annum from AT&T commencing on June 6, 2016, and this rental amount would be increased by 15% at the beginning of each successive extension term over the rental amount paid during the preceding term. The proposed lease does include language modifications that were mutually agreed upon by both parties and favorably reviewed by City Attorney Canello. Accordingly, it's my recommendation that the City Commission authorize the City Manager to execute the included lease amendment as presented. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gage?
I so move the manager's recommendation.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Just a comment, I guess, when you look at the long-term, 2046, and the amounts that the AT&T would be paying for the tower, it's significant when you look at it, almost $1 million. over $900,000 to the city for those rental of towers, so it's tremendous.
You might still be mayor.
No, we won't be alive. You never know.
You never know.
You never know. Commissioner Gage?
I'm convinced that Commissioner Lynn will still be on the commission at that point, too.
Anyone else want to make a comment? Otherwise, we roll call, please.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Boswitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimon?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item D, under the city manager's report, would provide for the authorization of a memorandum of understanding with Lake Superior State University regarding an outdoor ice rink area. As commissioners are aware, the administration has been working for a number of months with Lake Superior State University through Commissioner Jay Gage, Director of the Norris Center Ken Hopper, and Director of Facilities Steve Gregory on a partnership that would enable the community to skate on the ice rink that's set up by Lake Superior State University in the tennis courts immediately south of the Norris Center during the winter. Presented as a memorandum of understanding that could be entered into between both parties that would provide community access to the ice rink during the upcoming winter. It should be noted that LSSU would provide the requisite land and parking as well as the materials for the ice rink, while the city would provide the water necessary for initially filling the ice rink, as well as for resurfacing purposes. In addition, both parties would contribute to the maintenance of the rink area and ice, as well as the disassembly of the rink area. Finally, both parties would work to promote knowledge about community access to the ice rink. Specifically, the MOU provides that LSSU would open the ice rink to the community for at least 2 days per calendar week for at least 4 hours per day for a total of at least 8 hours per week. The specific dates and times will be refined in the future. The administration has enjoyed working with LSSU on this partnership, and executing this memorandum of understanding would be an excellent first step in meeting the City Commission established goal of further integrating LSSU as well as establishing an outdoor ice rink. The administration will continue to review other sites within the community for outdoor ice rink areas in an effort to maximize the City Commission established goal of providing that to the community. At this time, I recommend that the City Commission approve the memorandum of understanding for the outlined partnership as presented. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gary, you've been
I would-
silent tonight.
So move that we approve the memorandum of understanding for the outline partnership as presented.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any comments or questions? Commissioner Gage.
So I have a quick comment and then I have a question.
Sure.
The quick comment is that I'm really happy to work with Oliver on this project. I think this is a great step towards strengthening our community campus partnership. Obviously, you guys know that's a little bit important to me as I talk about it pretty much every time you get me going. This is going to be an amazing thing. We've got a lot of good things planned for this rink. We're looking to build Shanty Town as well this year, which is going to be a kind of a small little area of packing crates that we're going to repurpose into ice shanties on the other side of the rink. That'll kind of be like a pregame tailgating kind of place for students and community members alike. So our vision for this is ice rink on one side, Shanty Town on the other side, and then you can walk into the hockey games right afterwards. So I think this is a great partnership. And then my question is, being that I was so involved with this, should I abstain from this vote?
Does he abstain or not?
I would prefer if he did abstain.
Okay. You
No
would
problem.
prefer, okay. Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Mayor Boswitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimon?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Commissioner Bauer.
I just have a question, that if he were going to abstain from the vote, should he not also have abstained from the discussion, Steve? That is correct. So, next time,
My bad. I will.
Yeah.
just say.
Yeah.
I'm still new.
I was, yeah, it's not that, this item is not that controversial, and I was going to ask the city attorney that question in private after, but I'll bet you, he doesn't direct any of the employees, and he doesn't have anything party to do with setting this whole thing up, other than just being a member of the staff at Lake State, so you're still, what you say is it. So we're moving on.
Good.
Item E under the city manager's report regards the pending award of a construction contract for a CDBG urgent needs water main repair and replacement project improvements. On this matter, City Engineer Linda Basista is planning to make a presentation.
Good evening, Mayor and
Evening.
Commission.
Evening, Linda.
Last fiscal year, you accepted a grant from the MEDC for the repair and replacement of the water mains that had been affected by the deep freeze of the 13-14 winter. And we've since completed the design and bid out the package that will fall under a separate contract. The streets that are involved in this project are Riverside Drive from about Mission Street down to across from Rotary Park, Ridge in front of the fire hall, Sova across from Antlers, Grocap south or west of Magazine, and then Spruce Storm Sewer on the east side of the Spruce Street Bridge, and water main on Maple Street. The Maple Street water main and the Spruce Storm Sewer is going to be incorporated by amendment approval by the MEDC to the CSO project, so the remaining streets were bid out as a separate contract. We opened bids today. We received 3 bids, and the low bid was $1,147,000, thereabout. The engineer's estimate was $1.13 million, so the bids were close and close to the engineer's estimate. So we're pleased with the fact that we got 3 bids to begin with, because I was hearing that everybody was busy and this is kind of late in the season. So we were afraid we're not going to get bids at all, and if they were, favorable bids. So we're pleased with the bids, but the low bidder is a contractor that we've not worked with before, so we need to do some due diligence and check out their references and their experience and their qualifications. So therefore, we would like to request a special city commission meeting to award the construction contract and award a contract amendment to C2AE to perform the construction engineering services.
Okay. Any questions of Linda at this point? Thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. As Linda indicated, the administration is requesting a special meeting, which would be for Thursday at 12 o'clock, if that is possible.
It's okay with me. It's Thursday at noon. Work for everyone? Okay.
And at that time, we'll have the completed reference checks as well as additional project information and specific financing information as well.
So we should, at this point, have a motion, Commissioner Lynn?
So moved.
Okay.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. So we'll have a special meeting on Thursday at noon to consider this item. Okay?
Thank you, Mayor. That concludes the city manager's report.
Okay, thank you. Status report.
Item A under status report pertains to the Riverside Village water account receivable. As commissioners are aware, on Tuesday, August 4th, 2015, the residents of Riverside Village Trailer Park received notices informing them that their water service is to be terminated on September 15th due to a failure on the part of the owners of Riverside Village Trailer Park to fully comply with 2 separate payment plans negotiated between the city and the owners to bring the past due water bills for the park current while meeting critically related objectives. Subsequent to the distribution of these notices, a meeting was held on Friday, August 7th, including myself, Mayor Bospis, employees of the Finance Department, Ms. Spatafor, and approximately 45 to 50 residents of the park to discuss the pending termination of water services and to review the events that precipitated the city issuing notices regarding the same. No resolution regarding the subject matter arose from that meeting. On Tuesday, August 11th, Mr. Joe Spatafor, who claimed to be the son of Ms. Nicole Spatafor, who has been our primary contact on this matter, contacted my office indicating that he has been named a power of attorney and that he would be working to make a good faith payment in an amount that may be as high as $25,000 toward the past due amount on the water account, which currently has a balance owing of $49,728.04. Mr. Spatafor has indicated that he may attend this meeting to discuss the matter further with the Commission. The decision to issue the notices regarding the pending termination of water service was not made lightly. The city is acutely aware of the significant and negative impact that this action could have on the residents of Riverside Village Trailer Park. Thus, the city has been reasonable in its approach to date and in its efforts to work with the property owner in an attempt to see that this account be brought current. It was only after continued and prolonged failures on the part of the owner to uphold the provisions of both payment arrangements that the city regretfully made the decision to distribute notices to the residents of the park regarding the termination of water services. It is the genuine hope of the administration that an individual such as Mr. Spatafor Jr. or a financial institution such as the Bank for the Park will work with the city to bring the account current. Accordingly, it's my recommendation that the City Commission consider any comments made by Mr. Spatafor on the subject matter, should he be in attendance, as well as any comments made by residents or the owner of the park, and discuss the matter further. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Commissioner Lynn.
I have a question. How far back does the, when did she quit paying her bill? Let's put it this way. How far back does that?
The specific history information, I would pull that up. And regarding the
Couple of years?
this situation has been going on since January or February of 2014. At the time, there was a payment plan that was agreed to, and over the course of 2014, particularly towards the end, the payments that were agreed to in the first payment arrangement were short. During May, June, July, and August of 2014 in the first plan, the payments were made as required, and then in September of 2014, the amount of the required payment was short by almost $1,800. And then in November of 14, the payment was short by approximately $3,200 and short by $4,600 in December of 2014. At that time, and shortly thereafter, we negotiated a second payment arrangement, and the payments have been made in the amount of $5,000 on the second payment arrangement. They were made a few days late per the arrangement. However, the objectives of installing the meters at the park was not met, and the information being sent to the bank, as we had discussed, had also not been met. So throughout the first payment arrangement, there were late payments that occurred a number of times, and then throughout the second payment arrangements, the closely associated goals with making the payments were not followed up on.
Seems like the city's worked very well with the owner, and she has not followed through. The renters, they're stuck in the middle. They pay their rent. Part of that rent, I'm sure, in that rent is to pay for the water bill. The owner has not followed through on it. That's a pretty good-sized water bill. Was it worse than that? Did we give any breaks for let runs or?
Right. So there were, in essence, there were two credits that were issued for leaks. The first one was approximately $14,000, and the second one was approximately $20,000 on the account, in accordance with the leak credit adjustment policy.
I think you've worked very well with the owner.
Well, it's been
they have not followed through.
Of paramount concern for the residents of the park.
Right, that's what our concern should be. Hopefully the owner is here.
The city has spent an awful lot of time and an awful lot of effort, because of the 50 to 60 families that are in this park. A lot of the cost has come during severe winters where there have been let run. They're on an individual meter, if you understand. It's an individual meter, so one pays for the total park. So individually, people have let their water run, and they haven't been on a let run policy. But because somebody may have electric tape on it, somebody may not, it tends to be a real problem area. So the city recommended, as I understand it, that individual meters be installed so that the individual users of the park pay for their own water. That has not occurred. Maybe you just have a little history of that.
Right, so there was an initial system of meters, to my understanding, that had been purchased in early 2014, and because of the materials in the meters, those were not able to be installed. During the second round of the payment arrangements, it was agreed upon that a company called NES would install an individual metering system, and that the meters would be installed by the end of June. To this point in time, to my knowledge, there has been no work started on the meter installation process. That would, in essence, help to isolate specific water use to specific residences within the park to address those issues of self-imposed let run and to bill individual property owners in a manner that would help bring revenue to pay the water bills in aggregate.
If we understand, it's a private business. The city is only concerned about being paid for water, so we aren't privy to the actual goings-on of a particular business. We have an account. The account during two severe winters has gotten, out of hand. Leaks continue to go because somehow they don't get repaired. We don't know why at this point, other than the fact that they're not repaired, so they're allowed to run for a continuous amount of time before something is done. And all of a sudden you have a huge water bill. And I don't know all the particulars, mind you, but the city has spent an awful lot of time trying to accommodate and also be responsible that we have a utility that needs to be paid. And we have a mechanism where you can forego some payments because of particular situations, but not others. So we stand here with about over $49,000 bill due the city that, as a city, the administration, it's up to the commission because we all have individual votes, but the city is looking at another winter coming, and a large amount of water sitting there. At one time, we had the private business person had a banker. We have not heard from the bank or a backer type of thing, or somebody willing to loan money, I'm guessing, because that's a large amount of money. So, city manager, you...
That's correct. We have been in significant contact with the bank, and the bank has not been willing to put into writing that they will back the balance owing on the account.
Just a
A question, yeah, but you should raise your hand, so
Yeah.
Commissioner Gary.
So this is a item for informational purposes only tonight then, and
Yes.
short of receiving payment for 49,000 some odd dollars, the water will be shut off by September
50.
15th? Okay,
That's correct, Commissioner.
thank you.
Commissioner Lynn.
City manager, you, probably it's none of our business, but we aren't getting paid, but do they have does Riverside have any other outstanding bills that have not been paid? Doesn't sound like the bank is very happy. I'm just wondering the situation with the bank or any other services that they've been getting that have not been paid.
There is information within the agenda regarding the past taxes that are owed. There are a number of taxes that are owed to the city as well as to the county. I'd be happy to enumerate on those further if you like.
No, that explains it.
Commissioner Shimmons.
I'm just curious, if this bill were to be paid in full, we are most likely looking at getting unpaid bills again in the future because the leaks haven't been corrected. The lots are not individually metered. Nothing that she has said she would do has actually been accomplished. So we'll start this process all over again.
Commissioner, I would agree that if the individual meter system is not installed, then it's possible that we'd end up back in this situation. In discussions with the city attorney, if the account is brought current, then the water would definitely stay on, of course.
The city attorney would like to make a comment.
These would not be city meters?
Understand that.
Okay, so don't think that the individual occupants of the park would have accounts with the city. they wouldn't, but it would improve the cash flow of the,
Of the trailer
of the business, plus would hold the individuals accountable. Right now, there's nothing to hold the individuals accountable if they leave their faucet running all winter to avoid their own freeze-up issues that they might have in their home. And the business doesn't even know that's going on until they get an inordinately high bill from the city. So that's a contributing factor to it. So the concept of installing meters didn't originate with the city. That was just part of the overall plan of the business owner to address their usage and get their usage under control.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gage?
I guess as a follow-up to that, is there any possibility for individual tenants, I guess is the word, to set up their own individual water bills, water meters with the city, become city clients?
We've discussed that, and both the city attorney and I felt that that would not be permissible under the current arrangement of the trailer park.
Is Mr.
Commissioner-
Spatafor here?
Commissioner Lynn?
Is Mr. Spatafor here? Is that how you pronounce that? Is there a representative from Riverside here? The owner?
I have no power of attorney anymore, so Mr. Spatafor sitting right over there. If you'd like to speak on behalf of.
You'd like to, s- evening.
As we speak, this is something new to us. We just found out basically what was going on. We are working with the bank, and we are working with our attorneys to come up with, I just spoke to Mr. Oliver about a payment to get things going in the right direction. We are 5.5 hours away, so it's not an easy trip for us to get up here. We basically just found out about this 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. We were under the impression that the water meters were in place or beginning to be put in place.
Are you the son? Are you the
I'm
son?
the son, yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry, yes.
If you'd identify yourself for the
Sure,
record.
Joseph Spatafor.
Thank you.
Not Junior, just Joseph Spatafor.
Okay, thank you.
Apologies.
Commissioner Bauer?
When you say "we," who are you?
My
referring
family,
to
I'm sorry, me and my
specifically?
sister who is here with me.
But that doesn't include Nicole Spatafor?
No, it doesn't.
Your mother, okay.
So that's my stepmother, or my dad's wife, let's put it that way.
Gotcha.
So, we knew that there were problems, but we didn't know to the extent the problems are until I spoke to Mr. Oliver that was going on, and he had emailed me all the information, and I've been in contact with him 2 or 3 times trying to work this out. Just short notice, I tried to get it for the agenda, there's just no way we can get the answers yet. It's not, we don't have $50,000 laying around to pay. I don't want to use the word laying around. We don't have that to pay the city. We talked to the bank today. The bank is very willing to work with us. Mr. Oliver was really willing to work with us. We just have to figure out what's the best way to come up with this, whether it's payments, get the meters in, get everything under control. I don't know, if what meters are, what repairs have been done. It's just, we haven't got any information yet.
I can
I'm sorry, I
partly
can't
say,
come to you
yeah.
with more than that. I
I can at
can
least-
only tell you what I have.
The city doesn't want to go through another winter with the situation that it currently exists. So it's important that something is done, I think residents in the park are starting to make contingency plans because I believe they have to have water.
Oh, I understand that.
So you
yes.
understand it. So I would just tell you to expedite as soon as you can if you've got an answer, especially for the folks that live in the park, because it's important.
Like I said, this is just put into my hands, a couple weeks ago, and I did not know there was an outstanding water bill like this at all. As a matter of fact, we just got a letter from the attorney in town telling us what the problems were.
Something. Say, man, you have something?
I was just going to mention that from our first contact, Mr. Spatapor has been very communicative, and I hope that portends a positive turn of events, and city staff and commission would certainly make itself available to resolve the situation if you're...
Yeah, and you know, I can tell you something, and you've been told stuff, I don't know what you've been told before. The bank, we stopped there today, they're willing to work with us. We just have to figure out what is the best, you know, if it's $20,000 or $10,000 till we can get the stuff that the bank needs or something. You're gonna get something, we just don't know what, and it's definitely gonna be before, you know, next couple weeks.
Okay, Commissioner Simmons.
Is the city able to accept just a partial payment? I'm just thinking back when there was an eviction, you don't want to take a partial payment, you want the full rent because everything comes to a standstill. Is the city in that same type of situation?
Let me speak for the manager. The city are the people sitting, at least representative of the city, are the people sitting here, so that we shut water off for less than $90 a month due. We have 50 families to 60 families contingent on water. The bill is now 49 something. It'd be up to I would think the commission. I don't know if we want to put the administration in that accepting partial payments. Going forward, we know that come winter, if nothing is done, we're going to be sitting here next year. There's been people that, as we understand it, with the discussion we had on last week with the property owners and stuff, there are some folks that aren't current with rent type of thing. That's not our problem, but ultimately the water bill is, so that it's important that all that stuff is business, you know, so
Right.
that's your responsibility
Exactly.
now. So,
And I'm sure you can appreciate that's just been handed to me, so
Yeah.
I'm not even aware of that. My concern is the water bill and what we have to do to make sure that there's no shut-offs, because it's not just our business, but there's people that, you know, that live there.
mhm. Yeah. Can I ask you who's managing the facility?
As we speak,
Yes.
Nicole has been doing it. I just signed the papers today, to legally. My father spoke with the lawyer. Today I finally got the papers signed,
So your father is not managing the?
No.
Okay.
He hasn't been for, as far as I know, since 2008.
I guess I'll make this comment too. September the 15th is a date that may be flexible, only to the point that we're looking, it'd be up to the commission, but we're looking at, winter's going to be here, and that we can't be in the same situation. So,
Right.
Commissioner
We
Lynn.
do have someone who's
Oh.
interested in the park, but, interested in the park and buying the park are two different things.
Sure.
So just, we're just trying to do what's best for everybody. And they fall number one. You guys, as far as I'm concerned, they fall number one, you're two, and then it's us, so
Mhm.
that's the way I look at it. Hopefully it doesn't offend any of you, but that's the way it
No.
is.
That's the way it should be. Commissioner Lynn.
That's a heck of a thing to have thrown on you.
Yeah, I'm doing the best I can. I thought the meters were already being installed, or I've been trying to get a hold of a company I was told that was doing it, and I can't get any, I'm an honest person. I can't get any calls back from them. I don't know much up here, and I'm just kind of getting in what's going on in the park, and, things probably haven't been run as smoothly as they should have been, but that's a lot of businesses. I think that, that Nicole's tried to do her best, and, I think that it's just got overwhelming, and it just, I think she needs some help, and, hopefully we're gonna go in the right direction. I really think the bank, and I don't know, Mr. Bolivar's talked to the bank, but I think that they're willing to help us out if we can get them the stuff that they need.
I give him credit for being here. This is a tough situation. But you are talking 50 to 60 residents that are involved, and I just think that he wants to work with the city manager and work this out, and he needs a little time. I've worked with a lot of accounts receivable in my business. You just have to work with people. There's certain circumstances that cause problems, and you got to work with them. And him being here and what he wants to do, I think we've got to give him a chance. September 15th, you don't want to get into winter, of course, but they've got to come up with something soon. That's how I do it. You give a percentage now, and then you work on getting it caught up and give them some time.
And we have to find out where I don't know where the problems are. I don't know where the problems are, but I can say that I don't know how much it means, but I contacted Mr. Oliver. He didn't contact me. I reached out to him when I found out what was going on and became power of attorney.
But to me, some payment has got to be made.
I agree with you
Very
100%.
soon. Good faith payment. I'm not talking a couple grand out of the 50 grand. I'm talking a nice size payment, and then work on the rest.
And I don't know what kind of payment programs were missed or were set up, or if that's even possible, a chunk, and then that program. I mean, I think, was that emailed to me? I don't know if I think the program was emailed to me.
I can send it just to be sure.
If that's even on the table still. I mean, I'm willing to work with you, and I hope that you're willing to work with me for our sake and for their sake. I mean, and for your sake. Again, you're third, sorry.
Commissioner Shimmons and then Commissioner Gary.
Just one question.
Commissioner Gary. Commissioner Shimmons and then
sorry.
Commissioner.
Thank you.
Pardon me.
I'm wondering what's being done or what the plan is regarding all the leaks.
I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't gotten that information. I don't know if there are still leaks.
Can you ask your stepmother?
I'd be happy to answer.
If she's got anything that, she's more than welcome to help me out. I'm 5 of here.
Ms. Spatafor, if you're gonna talk, you have to talk at the mic.
Sure. Excuse me. I'm Nicole Spatafor.
Okay, and then-
I'm his father's wife, his
Okay.
stepmother. This is the same situation that I've been dealing with for the last few years with you. Trying to put the same stipulations, same kind of contacts with the bank, the water meter systems, and whatnot. They were supposed to be installed this summer, and I've been put back twice. I did speak with the general manager. He is sending up a journeyman. I have a contract signed with the company. They are coming in to go under every single home, because every single home is grandfathered in. There's newer ones, there's older ones. So not all the shut-off valves are exactly the same. So the leaks will be found. On my behalf, Joseph Spatafor, the son, has really had nothing to do with the business at all. He's never asked any questions. He's never really been on the property. He's never looked around. So for that, for my sake and judgment, and for the residents, to let you know, that is the fair and honest truth. And they can tell you the same. They've never seen this man before in their life.
Thank you.
I don't want to get into a
No,
thing, but
no, wait.
I've never had
Let's
any
just-
reason to come up.
And
Everything
you're
is
now the
fine.
power of attorney.
Yes, I
You're-
am.
You're the
So that's
person
why I'm here.
the city deals with.
Yes.
Is that right?
And they haven't
Okay.
seen me because I never had power attorney. They had it,
Sure.
we're under the impression, believe me, we never knew that there were this much back.
Well, I would just say at this point, I'm sorry, Commissioner Gary, you had a comment.
That was my question. He said he had signed paperwork, so I wanted to know who was responsible, legally responsible for dealing with the city. And in my opinion, I feel very badly for the tenants, and I know that we need to work something out, and I would agree that we need to refer back to the manager to come to some conclusion. But I would say that our first meeting in September is September 6th, and in my opinion, we still go forward because we're owed $50,000. So hopefully by the 6th, which is a couple weeks, they can have some meetings with their bank and other parties and the city manager to see if there's some kind of a conclusion, because in my mind, the city needs to be made whole on this water bill. Whether it's all at once, whether it's in payments, it's owed to the city, and we've already discounted $30,000 in the last 2 years, so this needs to happen.
And I agree with that.
We're not in the business
Yeah.
to manage your mobile home park, and I don't mean to be callous, but whatever the relationship is needs to be fixed on the other side of the dais. So I think we need to be made whole. Come to some kind of negotiation with city manager, and we'll consider that.
Yeah,
My personal opinion.
just a comment along with that is that we understand the city, is that we aren't a profit-making organization type of thing, and we deal with other folks' money that anything that we have are tax dollars, and so that we have to be made whole because we're not in the business of making money. So it's important that the 50,000, 49, whatever it is made whole, and then that continues to go forward, so that we're not sitting here next year looking at a similar type thing where we're and the leaks are well, I won't get into that publicly, but ultimately you understand.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? Commissioner Bauer.
This isn't for Mr. Spatafor, but this is, and a thought that occurred to me as you said, that we're not a money-making operation, and every year that goes by that we see that the water department and what the water rates have to be, I mean, is it not true that if we lose this $49,000 or more, who's gonna end up paying for that?
That's the
We
public.
are.
We are.
As individuals.
All-
Every single person
everybody
who
who
pays a
uses
water
water
bill in
bill.
Sault
Yeah.
Ste. Marie.
Yeah.
And that's who
Yeah.
we're making the decision
Sure.
for. That's who we're obligated to protect more than anything. As you're obligated to protect your people, we're obligated to protect our people, meaning the people who pay water bills in Sault Ste. Marie. There you go.
Okay.
I'm sorry. May I speak again? I was told by Kristen Collins that the unpaid water bill would go on the back taxes to the property. Yeah. I was told by Kristen Collins, is that her name correctly, the
Yes.
finance director, that the unpaid back taxes would go towards, or excuse me, the unpaid water bills would go towards the back taxes. So the city would not pay for it. It goes back onto the property.
City manager.
As far as the collection of water and sewer system revenues, ultimately those taxes, if they were to be paid to the city, would be by the county and then collected by another entity. So typically and always, we require that customers pay for the water that they use rather than using the county or other taxpayers as a backstop.
Right, and
So-
we're considered one customer for everyone that lives on the property, correct?
Right, so from my perspective, even if it were to go onto the taxes, the community would be subsidizing your overage on that.
Okay.
So I would have a
So there
different
was a
perspective.
miscommunication there?
Well, it's true that it may go on to the back taxes.
Okay, that's what I was
but,
told.
ultimately, that's not a guarantee that the city would be made whole. So
No.
the rest of the system users would be, in effect, subsidizing the overage on the account.
Okay, if any account that helps, I did speak to, like I said, the journeyman that's in charge of the NES water company out of Florida. They were sending someone to come inspect underneath every home.
Thank you. Commissioner Shimmons.
I have to say, I find her attitude very disconcerting. She owes 3 years of taxes, and that is the taxpayers. That's our budget, the money that we need to keep the city running. And now, you know, she had the belief that this could just be rolled over into unpaid taxes to be paid whenever. It's like, I don't know what you're thinking, but people who live in Sault Ste. Marie pay property taxes when they're due, for the most part, and they pay their water bills when they're due, and we're expecting that from you too. I just find it very offensive.
Mr. Spatafor? Did you have any-
No, is it 3 years of her back tax? I don't think it's that much, is it? Not to correct you at all, what you said was proper.
Right, it does go back from 2012 for delinquent personal property taxes. And then real property is 2013, 2014, and 2015 for summer and winter and delinquent taxes for a total of $76,700 in taxes owed to the city and the county.
That's not what I was told at the bank today, but I can look into that. Not to argue, I'm just.
Sure. Well, I
yeah.
understand it's a difficult
Yeah.
situation
Yeah,
for
right.
you.
It was fast in and out.
Yeah.
Paperwork's in the car, so it
Different-
doesn't matter, it's still back.
Okay. Everybody kind of understand where we're at this point? I don't think we just update. Hopefully you'll deal with the administration to rectify the
Right.
situation.
And deal with the city manager, and we'll try to, now, is there something that, just between you and me, we'll sit down and talk, and you have to take it back to the board? I mean, I have to try to find do I need to come up with $50,000 in 2 weeks? I mean.
Right. We can discuss it further over the
Okay.
next week or two.
Well, you're saying yes, we can do that, she's saying yes, so it's, you know, this is something new for me, so I'm trying to figure out, we'll discuss it then, and I'll be in town tomorrow if that's okay.
Okay.
Okay,
We would look
thank you
forward to
very
that.
much for your time. Thank you for your support.
Thank you very much. Anything else?
Item B under status report pertains to the 2015 construction cycle, on which matter City Engineer Basista will provide an update to the commission and the community. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Welcome again, Linda. A busy year in construction.
Need some help with the laptop?
Good evening. I'll be brief.
That's okay. I think, people want to know what's happening, so.
Okay. Well, the PowerPoint is up, and this is what you see all over town. This is 2015 construction season.
I got one of those.
Anyway, with the projects, we have completed some projects so far this summer. One is the East Easter Day sidewalk replacement, and on the left is a picture of the condition generally before. And now we have some nice new sidewalks along Easter Day, and we're planning our next phase of the sidewalk replacement program to bid out this fall for construction again next spring. Also early in the season, we completed the upgrades to the Ani Osborne campground, the west side, the electrical upgrade, to upgrade the services to 50 amp service. And if you look at the motorhome shown here, that is not mine. And there are several like that in the park right now. So you can see why we needed 50 amp service. Some of these things have washers and dryers in them, and so 50 amp service is good for the campground. And near completing is Seymour Street rehab and drainage improvements. This is looking north down the hill.
Boy, it looks great.
And this is the first course of pavement, and that was completed on Thursday or Friday of last week. And now they're fixing the shoulders, and the final paving is planned to go down on Wednesday, and then they'll be doing driveways and cleanup and pavement markings and that to follow. So this should be all wrapped up in just a couple of weeks. And what you see here again is the first leveling course, and the actual road will have be wider with wider paved shoulders. So we're paving the shoulders with this project. CSOC 3 is where you see a lot of construction in a very small area. And the orange lines are the streets that are being constructed this summer. And so far, only Dawson has been completed up to pavement, and the contractor is expecting to have their own asphalt plant in town next towards the end of next week. So we should be seeing more paving going on those streets that are currently prepped for paving. But in the meantime, the contractor does have 3 main crews in town. The original schedule was to have 2 main crews, and they brought in a 3rd crew early on. So the dark orange roads are the roads that were planned for this year, but because they're somewhat ahead of schedule overall, they think they're going to start Johnston south of Spruce Street, so Johnston between Dawson and Spruce this year. That was planned for next year. So they overall ahead of schedule. I'd say they're a little bit behind schedule with as far as the paving goes, but again, we're a little under the gun up here as far as having ready asphalt. We need ready mix.
Where's the plant going to be? Do you know?
You know, I don't know where they're putting their plant.
Okay. We haven't had an asphalt plant in the area that I know of.
We have not had one since I've been here, a permanent one.
Yeah.
Payne and Dolan had a permanent
Yes.
one, but since I've been here, they've always been portable
Mm-hmm.
asphalt plants. So something that has taken a little bit of getting used to for me. The next project is the Ashman Street Utilities and Streetscape. They're currently working on the west side, and that is the most difficult and lengthy part of this project because all the utilities are on the west side. So the water main is in and completed and will be being tied in at either end. Next one end early this week, Wednesday, and the other end will be tied in when they switch sides. The picture you see here is of the sanitary sewer at near Easter Day. There has been a little bit of a lull in the activity because the sewer pipe that this guy is standing on we did have some adjustments to be made with the depth of the sewer. So took a little bit of time to investigate the depths, and then they're underway with that again tonight, actually. So that's back underway, and they'll be working on sidewalk, we expect curb and gutter next week, and paving after curb and gutter. They'll do sidewalks, and then they'll pave.
Did you say curb and gutter next week on the west side?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
And they'll have to complete the entire west side. So sometimes you see in a project where they complete the curb and gutter and then do the other side, but come back and do the sidewalks later. But in this case, because they have to maintain traffic in 2 directions, they'll have to complete the sidewalks. Everything will be completed that requires work from the roadside before they switch traffic. But once they switch over, that part should go really fast because other than some minor catch basins and storm sewer work, that is all just road work. Okay. So that will go quickly. West Easter Day Mill and Resurface will be being done by Payne and Dolan. That is from Portage to Industrial Drive. I will talk about this one in conjunction with the next project because Easter Day Avenue is the detour route for Myers realigning 14th Street and the 3 Mile Road widening. 3 Mile Road widening doesn't require a detour. That'll be done under traffic. But as you see here in this picture, if you look up into the top right corner, and you can just see a car. I think that car's just coming off of Radar Road. That's where this road will now, 14th Street will come straight into Radar Road. And so Meyer plans to, the contractor for Meyer, who is Elmer, we had a pre-paving meeting today. They plan to they're working on the 3 Mile Road widening now. And in 2 weeks, they expect to be working on, in about September 14th, they expect to be working on the 14th Street widening, which then would require the detour. So Payne and Dolan is also the paving contractor for this project. Payne and Dolan is the contractor for Easter Day. So as part of the pre-production meeting that we had today, reminded them I don't want the detour through Easter Day when the Easter Day project is going on. So we originally had Easter Day scheduled to be completed by September 24th, but because of the 14th Street detour, we may postpone the Easter Day mill and resurface. So that we should have no trouble completing both of these projects this year. Also, another project that just had a pre-construction meeting and will get started in a week or two after the culverts get delivered would be the culvert removal replacement and the stream bank restoration at the I-500 track. That has no impact on traffic, thank goodness, something. The next project, and as we discussed tonight briefly, the urgent needs water main replacement for Riverside Drive, Ridge Street, Grocap, and Sova. They will be having a special meeting on Thursday to award that contract, and that should be completed this year. The last project that we still anticipate to do, will be going out for bid any day now, would be the West Portage Ave mill and resurface. That we plan to do after Labor Day, after the tourist season is down and traffic is down. And that will be a simple project, but still a little bit of impact, but we'd like to get that one completed this year as well.
Question on that. We had talked before about the amount of water that lays on the curb area. Are those going to be additional catch basins?
That's to the west of Osborne. This is between Osborne and Ashman.
Oh, just that one block?
Yeah, this is just one block. The section you're talking about, if you recall, we applied for a grant from the Federal Lands Access Program, and that we hope to do with that project.
Okay.
Probably in 2017, I believe, is when, 2017 or 2018. Another project, though, that we did.
Commissioner Gage has a question, I think.
Just a quick one about Portage Avenue. It being so small, are we planning to do one lane at a time or just do the whole street at one time?
Well, they would do the whole street. They would come in and mill. That would only take a day. Come back, do a little bit of repairs on the base pavement, and then come back in and pave. So it's too small to really
Real
separate
quick.
out. Yeah. A couple of projects that we talked earlier in the year that we'd hoped to do this year, but gosh, we just have a lot to do. Would be the Lakeshore Drive. We, as you know, we sent out a survey to the Lakeshore Area Drainage District, and so we're still meeting with the Lakeshore Drive residents regarding their culverts and their drainage work, and we'd like to have more meetings with them, so are proposing that project be bid out this winter for next year construction. And also, just because Christ Oil is, as you know, is planning to build a gas station, new business at the corner of 14th and Ashman, and their work, their driveway, some of their utility tie-ins will go on to 14th, so we'd like to get their project underway and completed before we do 10th and 14th, and so that one is also postponed. And we just sent a letter to the residents letting them know that, and when we bring that back forward to them, because it's been so long now since we initiated the special assessment process for the street improvements for that project, we'll just start that process all over again for the special assessments. That gives them an opportunity to speak at a public hearing and so forth.
Just going to ask you a question about Christ Oil, the building that they're doing. We've heard that's been coming for over a year now, and the building's gone. When do you think they'll start their construction?
They just received their MDOT permit, all their final approvals. The last thing they were doing was working with because there's utilities to be relocated, power, AT&T, and our water and sewer had to be relocated out of the alley that we vacated. So they've been working on that, and Crest Oil has their own construction company as well. So they've been busy. I know that they were planning to get in mid-August, so I would expect to see them starting any day.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any question? Commissioner Twardy?
Just a couple of quick comments. Number one, I can't wait to wash my car. So Ray and I both live in the heart of this whole entire project, and it's going to be odd to have to set your alarm again, won't it? Because these guys really get going early. Like, I'm up every morning by 5 a.m. going to run anyway, but, I mean, a lot of the projects are out there working at 5 a.m. They really have some long days, so they're doing a great job, but, yeah, I can't wait to wash my car.
Well, you can wash your car, it just won't stay clean.
Stay clean for a couple of hours.
Let me tell you, Commissioner Twardy, anybody that has gone through the CSO work and you've had that in front of your house,
yeah.
And that's been going on since 1994, and a lot of us have had that same experience. You're happy when it's done. You know you got to go through a little bit of heck to get there, but when it's all said and done, you got brand new pavement, curbs, and new sidewalk. It's great to see and a great feeling. So we can't wait.
Yeah, the CSO, I have to say in particular, have been extremely impacted, and I know what construction is going on there, and I sometimes have to find my way around to get from one area to another. So the residents out there have just been very cooperative, just, you know, things, and the contractor, of course, is taking care of things when they need to, and so it's been going well.
It's been a busy summer for you, we know, so we thank you.
Busy. Thank you.
Anything else?
Yeah, just to appreciate Linda's work and the cross-departmental nature of these projects, particularly in a busy year like this. Does put extra work on engineering as well as DPW and streets, planning and zoning, the DDA, the clerk's office, the city attorney, and the finance department. So it's a governmental-wide effort, and certainly satisfied with the progress that has been made on multiple fronts this year.
Great, thank you. Anything else?
That concludes the status report section, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Item number 7, are matters presented by the public. Is there anyone in the audience like to make a comment at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to item number 8, matters presented by the commission. Commissioner Bauer.
Two things real quick, both similar in nature. Number one is I think some kudos go out to Phil Becker and the people responsible for lighting up the International Bridge.
Good point.
It's looking very sharp. And so is Das Gift House. They're repainting that out of, they're not done with it, I don't think, but that's also looking pretty good.
Good.
Why are you laughing?
Glad to see it done.
It's great. No? Anything else?
One.
Commissioner Twardy.
I just, sidewalk sales have happened since we were
Yes.
here. And so I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who did make their way downtown. It seemed very successful. It was really busy down there, and with all the construction, I know it was really difficult to get there. But Justin did a great job, and everybody who showed
I'm glad
up
you
was
said that
great.
because we would have forgotten that. And that sidewalk sales and the walleye tournament, or it was a walleye, right? Not,
Yep.
Yeah, bass.
Say-
wasn't it? Yeah, bass.
bass.
Yeah, bass tournament. The great idea of using the market, farmers market area for them to bring their boats in and then come down the front on Portage, on Ashman, and then turn it. And I was there both days in the downtown area. It was busy Friday, and with even a little bit of rain, and it was busy Saturday. The car show had about 70, almost 80 participants. Great weather, a lot of people, and it was great to see in an area that, you know, the construction around the area was pretty intense, but a lot of people came down, and it was a really nice event, and it looks like it's starting to build, and certainly Justin and his crew and the volunteers that make this happen, we certainly thank them. Commissioner Gage.
I had, so just real quick, Friday, August, oh my gosh. August 28th is Laker Palooza on
Okay.
campus, which means that not only is that a great time for the commission and the city to go and check out what's going on campus, but that means that the students are coming back. So I'm sure that Ray is really excited about that. He's going to have a few more patrons downtown at his place with the students coming back. And then the last quick question is for Oliver, and it's about a status update about hidden treasures in the building and the status of that, if you don't mind.
Thank you, Commissioner Gage. The structure, as you know, burned at the end of June. We're approaching the end of 40 to early 50-day mark. The date that was established for the debris to be removed was last Friday, and at that time, the property owner submitted an appeal to the notice that was sent out by the city. And the existing structures Board of Appeals will hear that appeal on Wednesday at 5:30 here at City Hall. And the decision of the existing structure Board of Appeals could either be to provide additional time to the property owner to remove the debris, or to uphold the date that was given to the property owner by the administration.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Anyone else? Commissioner Lynn?
Move to adjourn.
Support.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.